Okay, all right. So, infrastructure squad. So, what I was thinking we could do today was build on, you know, essentially what we've done in the past, but use it to help the app that the front end squad and the back end squad have been working on. So there are two pieces to this. One is to tweak our Jenkins job so that it can deploy that, right? And then the second piece is to automate the ingestion of data, right, from the GitHub repo. Okay. So, which one do you think would you guys like to work on first?
First one.
Okay. All right. So, so based off of what we've been working on, and you can see my screen for the front end squad. This is what we got yesterday, right? This is the app, and this app currently comes from a database, but that database was seeded by a Jenkins job. Oh, sorry, by Node.js script, right? The Node.js module that we also created in the backend squad. And so what we're going to try to do is, so the data is in a Git repo that is updated daily, right? And what we're going to try to do is to, on a daily schedule, at a particular time every day, we're going to have a mechanism. I'm going to leave it vague now because I want to talk about it and talk about solution. We'll need a mechanism that will go to that GitHub repo, get the latest CSV file, and put it in a MySQL database that the app can read from. Excuse me. Okay, so let's talk about it. How would we break this down? Any suggestions, any ideas based on what we know so far, based on what we've done?
So sorry. So currently the front end bit. So we've got this API that the backend guys built, and it does it. So it's in a database, right? Am I correct?
Yes, it reads from a database.
So
our task on the infrastructure squad is to set up some kind of mechanism for that database to be updated on a daily basis.
Okay. Right. So we need the new op file. Basically, we're looking at thinking. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud here. Mm-hmm. We need to create a mechanism that to first of all grab the new file, mm-hmm. or if we're going to put it somewhere, we put it somewhere. Mm-hmm. And then we have to set up a trigger that we put somewhere. I guess we trigger a pull. A Jenkins, let me see, a Jenkins jobs can then decide to put it. Do we need Jenkins to put it on in a story? But then I'm trying to work out when do we put. So actually, do we need? So don't we just need a trigger that says when it gets into, let's say, an S3 place, run this JavaScript on it, which populates our database with the new data? We'll get this wrong order.
Possibly.
Could we do it based on time? I mean, I guess if it's 12 midnight, we could have a time stamp that once it gets to that timestamp, it pulls the data and updates, basically trigger the Lambda function to update everything.
So in AWS, how do you set something to run on this schedule? Because you're asking for you to have a scheduled trigger, right?
Yes.
How do you do that in AWS?
I thought there was an option in, I thought it was a Lambda function, but there was a timestamp. I can't remember.
Okay. I'm pretty sure there must be a timed trigger. And I know we did look at object array, but I guess if we do a search, there should be like where we can poll it every 24 hours or something like that.
Well, so let me help you guys out. What we need is a CloudWatch rule.
Ah, CloudWatch.
Yes, because you can set up a CloudWatch rule, and we've done this before. You can set up a CloudWatch rule that runs once a day at midnight, maybe. Well, at any time, we can make it whatever time we want. But the CloudWatch rule that runs once a day and triggers a Lambda function. And that Lambda function will do a pull from GitHub, get the latest files, and write them to an S3 bucket. Right? Or we can have a second Lambda function that's triggered by files being added to that S3 bucket, right? That will take the new file within that S3 bucket and essentially read the file, write the data in the database, right? Using the scripts that we've written already, right? So those are kind of the pieces that we need. We need a CloudWatch rule, we need 2 Lambda functions, and 1 S3 bucket. And of course, we need a database instance of some sort. Right. Oh, all right. So let's get to it. I mean, does that make sense? Do you guys understand the breakup? And descent is okay. All right. So let's get to it. So first thing, let's see what that GitHub repo is like. So Wally, you had a link here. Now to copy this link. I'll GitHub link.
So did you call me?
No, it's okay. I was looking for the link.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's find GitHub here. Right there. Data. All right. So now here's the interesting thing. We have the data in JSON, which is even more usable. Like, this is, I mean, like, anyway, this is set up and structured by country, pretty much. From what I can see here, the JSON data, okay. From what I see here, the JSON data seems to be by country. Right.
Is it the COVID data?
Are you sharing your
Yeah.
screen?
Oh, I'm not sharing. I'm so sorry. So, sorry, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the repository apparently has the data as both CSV and JSON. Okay.
It's much larger than the one I sent you.
There's also an Excel. There's also an Excel sheet here. But yes, this here. Okay, this was updated 4 hours ago. So maybe our trigger should run at like. This was updated 4 hours ago, and it's 6 p.m. Eastern time right now. That would be 2 p.m. Eastern, right? Okay. So, well, we're still going to work. We're going to work with the CSV data because that's what our script works with. But I was just curious. Let me look at the fields on the JSON data again. Because what we did was we had to convert the CSV to JSON so that we could ingest it, right? So if we're already getting JSON, then we won't need to do the whole conversion that we had to do. But the structure is different. And this has a lot more information. It has population and population density and median age and all of that, in addition to, and the field here is called the recorded. All right, so let's download this. Let's download the CSV. So we can have a look at that.
So, excuse me, Inka, I guess I'm looking at the GitHub account. I see a COVID-19 data. I only see, maybe it's the wrong one, but only public scripts, hit ignore. Maybe I'm looking at a different one.
Yeah, so this repo I'm looking at is not the project.
Okay.
This is a different GitHub. This is a GitHub repo that Wale shared. This is where the CSV we worked on. That's where it came from. But so Wale, this CSV does not match the one that we worked on.
The CSV I sent you was from WHO. This is a different group entirely. These guys are tracking way more data points. So this is a larger data set, much larger than that one.
Okay, so the WHO one, where can we get that? Is that also in the GitHub repo?
I think so. Do I have time to search for it, or should I just so you can focus on something else, or do we need it right now?
We need it.
Okay, all right now. Okay, so if you go to
I mean, you can do the search and let's know what you find. If not,
yeah,
I'll find it.
Yeah. This one is very different because this here is the fields are completely different.
I understand.
In which case it wouldn't work with.
It won't work with what you already have before, right?
What we already have.
Okay. hold on. So I found the direct link to the CSV. So I found the URL to the CSV.
Send me that.
All right. Okay. So first of all, let me just send you the page where it's at. How should I send it, here or Slack?
No, send it on Slack.
So it will take you to the page, to the live CSV, the CSV that has been updated. Now, the interesting thing is this particular one is, it takes you to a Google link.
Yeah. Have you sent it?
I just pasted it now.
Okay.
You see it.
Yeah. All right. So just hold on 1 second. So let's look at this. And this is the CSV file.
That is the CSV file, yeah.
Okay, and this is stored in Google Docs.
So I'm trying to.
So
I'm going to keep searching to see if there is another version of the same data that is part of like a repo or something.
So okay. I thought the repo you sent was the same.
No, it's much more detailed. So.
Yeah, I mean, we can work with this. The only thing about it is that
just won't match what we've done before, and I understand that.
I mean, we're gonna have to rebuild the front end.
I see, but you know, let me see if I can find it.
The URL you sent, is that to the one we used, or to this new version?
So the one I sent initially was just an old CSV, like a static CSV file. It wasn't linked to anything.
Okay, gotcha.
You know. So
all right, we'll work with this. We'll create the database and everything around this. Okay. Actually, let's see. Let's work with this. I mean, we can do the first steps. Doesn't matter what the data structure is, right? Setting up the trigger and the rule does not depend on the data structure. This data structure has thrown me off a little bit. All right, so let's just get to it. Let's get over it. All right.
if I find it right now, I'll let you know.
No, don't worry. We'll just use this.
Okay.
We'll just use this. All right. So, as we discussed earlier, the pieces that we need to build, we need the CloudWatch rule, which is what gives us our scheduled triggers, right? Essentially, on a Linux machine, it'll be like creating a cron tab, right, or a cron job. So in AWS, the way that you schedule things is with a CloudWatch rule. And then you define what that CloudWatch rule triggers. Okay, so let's jump into this and then sign into AWS. Okay, so let's go to services. We're going to go to cloud. Okay. And then what we want is we want to create, so we go to rules and want to create a new cloud work rule. Okay. And it's either based on an event pattern or schedule. We want it based on a schedule and we want it at a fixed rate of 1. Okay. Right? And our target, we don't have a target yet, but we don't have any Lambda functions here. That could be our target. So let's create a new one here, and we're gonna call this Lambda. Okay, so we're gonna create a new Lambda function here. We're gonna author it from scratch here. And we're gonna call it update fetch COVID data, right? And we'll use Node.js to open it. Okay, permissions. Do you want to use an existing role? We'll use the role that we had created before that has S3 access, right? Because this needs to be able to write to S3. This is that existing role. All right. Fetch COVID data. That's our Lambda function here. So here, we just have target. We need to here. Push that. So we want this on the schedule, on the fixed schedule of 1 day. Target, Lambda, fetch COVID data. Right, I will name this fetch COVID data daily. Okay. Write that. And this now should be updated. Let me refresh here. Refresh this here. And we now have our trigger connected here. Okay, so that part of it is set up. And what we want to do here is we're going to use Node, right, to pull from GitHub. So with our good old friend here, Um, um, module. Um, okay, new Git. Let's see. All right. Nope. Git clone. Okay, so it seems like there's a git clone module here that we can use. This is executing a shell command on the server. Our Lambda function is serverless, so this will work. So let's see. So Node.js git clone. Oh, you know what? We actually don't need to clone the repo because this path right here is actually a direct path to the JSON file. So we don't need to actually clone the repo. We can just download the file directly. That's
Yeah, because I was going to say, what I was wondering, why do we have to go to GitHub with data?
Well, so the data is in GitHub, right? The plus side is we actually don't need.
You said the data is in GitHub.
Yes. So this data right here, where is it? This link here.
But
so this is in GitHub, right?
Oh, so this is not the new link he sent, right? This is the old link. Is that what we're saying?
No. This is the new link. This is the link, but this has the daily updated data.
Oh, okay. So,
right?
okay. So that's okay.
Right. The plus side is the data is in GitHub, which is good. It's updated daily, so you can see this. It was updated 4 hours ago.
Well, since we've got
hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, so we're just going to pull the file using the JSON link.
Okay.
Okay, we'll just pull this directly with the JSON link, and that's it. So if we come to this file here, there's a download link here that's actually the path to the actual data itself. So this URL here is what we're going to use. It's going to be that simple. So we don't have to do.
And is it a matter that we can then use the trigger itself to populate our database? Like do the split, could the Lambda function itself, could it do the splitting?
Yes.
And
Yes. So we're going to this. We won't use the same trigger. We'll put it in the S3. So we'll always update this file in S3 and have a separate trigger that does the writing to the database. We want to separate those concerns.
okay.
Because hey, maybe we don't want to write to the database. Maybe we decide later I want to just use the JSON file directly. You know, now, right?
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, I'll get that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's always better to separate this so they're not tightly coupled together. All right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to download this from CSV with Node, right? And save it to S3. We'll write it to S3. Okay. All right. So now, problem here is that we can't download it to disk, as we typically do on a server, because Lambda is serverless, right? But let's see, maybe we can. I need to, I'll have access to it. So let's see. So let's say Node.js download file, right? That's we're going to use this on this. Okay, so we're going to create a write stream, and then now we may actually skip doing the actual writing, right? We may actually skip doing the actual writing and just write it to S3 directly. But let's get started. Let's see what we end up with. So let's come here. Let's come to our Lambda function. Yeah, right. Okay, I'll leave all that there just for boilerplate stuff. All right, and then what we're gonna do before the exports here, so host require and so remember, like we did before, like file system, HTTP, HTTPS are built-in node modules. Okay, so but this is a full backend class, so we won't go into all those details, but we can look at the methods of it. So node HTTPS. Yeah. And they're very, very similar. So you can look at the different methods for it. So HTTPS get is what we're going to do, right? If you look at this here, because we want to make create a get request. So we're literally just going to do an HTTPS get the URL, options, and the callback. Okay. So let's do this here. So we'll get HTTPS. Okay. In here, HTTPS the get, right? The URL. Okay. Now options is optional, and then the callback is okay. And let's do this. And say if error. Yeah. And say console.log error. Okay, it's just error. If it succeeds, we say was successful. All right, let's see this. Let's test this. Test. All right. So run this test. So, yeah. Oh, HTTP then. Okay, let me call this HTTPS so it matches. This test. Okay, so this test passes. And okay, so this seems fine. And let's look at the monitoring here. Open up the monitoring. So like this. Oh, yeah. Our response here needs to be in the callback.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When we get this data,
Yes.
I'm trying. If Lambda is serviceless, where's it putting the data?
So right now it's saving it in a variable.
Oh, okay. So like in like short-term memory somewhere.
It's in memory.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So here it's getting it. It's in a variable. So when you do HTTP GET, it just fetches it into memory. If you want it in a file, you have to write it to a file.
Yes, I was going to say. So, and this memory is temporary.
Yes, like RAM. Yeah. It's in RAM. So it's not on disk. It's in memory. So similar to like in other languages, if you do a curl, any server request, anything, you fetch data from an external resource, it's never written to disk unless you specifically write code to write it to disk. Right. If you issue a server command, that's a different thing. If you are on the server and you issue a wget, that will write it to disk because that's what you're asking it to do, right? To download the file. But in this case, you're writing code and you're saying, okay, get data from it. It never writes to disk unless you write code for it to write to disk. Okay. So here, it's going to be memory. It's going to be this variable called data. Pretty much. Okay. So let's save this. And what I actually just want to do is to make sure that the Lambda function can make that call. And I'm looking for just an entry. I'm looking for just an entry in the logs to show me that yes, it fetched the data. That is what I'm not seeing here.
Well, why would it work? We've not triggered it yet. I thought we triggered it for every day. Or is it the test you're trying? Is it the test we're talking about here?
Yeah. It's the test. Okay. So this test trigger is coming all the way through. Yeah. Right. If I do a console log here. Right. And I save this. And I run test. You see that here? This was tested. Can you see that? So I'm looking for, which is why I have these two logs here. I want to see it go. Right. Or I want to see it fail. I'm not getting either. Let's see. I think we had something like this with one of the previous Lambda functions. Let's just look at this one. I'm trying to remember. So I think what we
Sorry, can I just ask another question in it?
Yeah, go for it.
The CloudWatch is meant to trigger this, right?
Yes. But
so why?
because our tests also whenever we click test, we trigger it.
Yeah.
That's how we trigger it to see if it's working.
Yeah, but would that log also be in the CloudWatch?
Yes, you can see it. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So CloudWatch is not just for triggering. CloudWatch is for watching.
What? Okay.
You know, so just one feature of CloudWatch is the rules.
Okay, got you.
So there's rules, but we're using the logs as well to see what's going on. If we come back here and I refresh this, you can see that this here is showing up for every time I trigger the test.
Yeah.
Right. You can see that here. So this is 643.
Got you.
Right
Got
now
you. Yeah.
it's 645. This is the last one I triggered. And in this one, you can see that I have this line here, which is what I'm looking for. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking for something like this for...
In the CloudWatch logs.
Yeah, but I'm looking for something like that for the get calls, the calls that actually, you know, that actually make the HTTP request. I am not getting that. Okay? That's what, yeah. Because so I like to do stuff like this just to confirm that, okay, yes, this call is going out. Before I start trying to do anything with the data, let me actually even make sure that this is executing. Right? So one thing, hold on, let me just check this, the callback for this. Yeah. Oh, it's only a response. Oh, okay. I see what it is.
Can you explain to us mere mortals?
What?
Can you
Well, what
explain
it is, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So it doesn't return error and data. It actually returns a response object, and then I have to watch events on the response object. So I have to do this response dot on data and response dot on error. You know what I mean?
Yes. So basically, you have to follow that syntax as it is in that. Okay.
Right. So this is what I need to do. It's not error data here. I'm going to return rest. Right. I'm going to use the rest object, and then here I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do this is not Vim. I'm constantly doing Vim type stuff. All right. So here I'm going to do rest stuff on. That's an event handler, right? Data. And then the callback needs to be the callback will have just one parameter. The rest is on data and then on callback, data, which is the variable where we wanted to save the data it gets, right? So this is our callback. All right, and then here, we cut this here, put this in there, so that it only does this. It only returns when the data is complete. So here we can do a console.log data retrieval. Okay, let's see this. We can hit test again. Let into the error handling. It didn't go into that branch here, so that error. Still not no. Still no lock here. Checking to see if there's any hints on that. Nope. All right. My brain is so tired. I'm like, yeah. All right, so let's see. So this is the module we're using. Oh, hold on. The URL that we use is HTTPS, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And so let me try these two. See if this give us any help. Okay. All right. Excuse me for 1 second. Sorry, I've been talking on mute the whole time. Hello?
Yeah, I was wondering what was going on.
Yeah, I've been.
I thought you were engrossed.
No, I've been talking on mute. I actually said, let's call it. My brain is way too dead to deal with this. That's why I closed the tabs. That's why I closed the tabs. I am way too tired. I'm reading this and not even processing it at all. And this is not a complex problem. It's a problem I've faced before, but I'm not thinking about enough to even deal with it. All right. So this is, we talked about, I mentioned this before in the past about race conditions in JavaScript, right? And how async processes. So what's happening here, I can describe what the problem is that this Lambda function is exiting before this HTTP GET is done. So the output from it, I actually want to see the output in the logs. I'm not seeing it. I remember now. You remember we had this problem with the S3 here.
Yeah. So I was sorry. I was going to say that can we just not make it not asynchronous? I was just going to say that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So just in explaining it, that's where the problem is. Oh, jeez, Lord. All right, let me undo all of this. It's that async thing. Let's take all of this out. So this async here is what's been screwing us over. And that's, so one of the things that I've experienced is explaining a problem helps solve it. Even if you're explaining it to someone who has no clue what it is or how to solve it, but just voicing it as you're trying to talk through the pieces of it, it very, very often helps unblock you. So now you see the test is waiting. And now look at what we have here. Right? Data retrieval complete. This is what we've been looking for all this while. Is this okay? So I'm so tired. But yeah, this is it. And then after it, then we have the response to. Okay. All right. So this is what we need to. Okay. So we know it's connecting. We know it's retrieving data. Very good. We just need to let the async. I don't know. All right. So I'm going to move this. And then let's look at the documentation here for dealing with the data. Okay. So what we want to do here, on data, I don't want to console log that data stream. I want to Okay, let's do this. We'll probably crash this, but let's console log data. Oh yeah, let's modify our text. Log data. Save. Yeah, so this is buffer. It's returning a buffer. So we want to read that buffer. There we go. All right, that's what we read. So because it's a buffer, right? It's gonna read the buffer. That's why it's doing the console log multiple times because it doesn't read it up at once. It reads it in chunks. So what we want to do is we want to define a variable and continue appending it. So like this, right? So here we're gonna say we're gonna do this. And I'll call back here. We're gonna say let data or let body, right? And then here, rather than console log data, we're gonna say we're gonna concatenate it. So body plus equals data, right? Then we want to go to the to the end callback, right? So here's what we want. And we say dot on run. We will say JSON parse body, right? Because it's a string, we need to convert it into a JSON object. So JSON.parse is always for that. And then we can now say, we look at the structure of that JSON, an object with keys. So let's do this. Let's say console.log object.keys are records. Let's say this. Okay. And this will task timed out after 3 seconds. Okay, let's increase the timeout. Remember the configuration. There's a configuration option here for timeout. What's that configuration? Environment, variable stats, pivot settings. This is the timeout here that we want to change. So rather than hit timeout after 3 seconds, we want timeout after 5 minutes. Actually, no. Let's not make it 5 minutes. I think it's disastrous. Go to 30 seconds. 0 minutes, 30 seconds. All right. Let's run this test again. Okay. So here we can see all the keys, which is essentially the country codes, right? So we know we're getting the data just fine now. All right. Now the question is, we were going to just write this to an S3 bucket, right?
Yes.
Or would it make sense, rather than writing it to an S3 bucket, just to pipe it, to send it to another Lambda function that just writes it to the database, and we can skip S3?
So can one lambda pass data to another lambda?
Yes.
Okay.
Because remember, here we have trigger.
Yep.
And here we have destination.
Yes, we haven't used that yet.
Yeah, so if we say, okay, let's add a destination. Right.
Which you probably can't because you haven't got a lambda function written yet.
Right. Well, and then we don't have that written yet. But if we write a lambda function that accepts the data as the event, right?
Yep.
Then we can just stream it to that and have that write to the database.
Yeah. Okay. That
would be cleaner, and then we can skip the S3 bucket step completely.
Yeah.
Right. The question I have, yes.
Yes. I was just going to say, and just going back to what you said about, I guess, modular steps. That I think the advantage I can see of writing to S3 is for posterity. If one bit breaks, we can quickly notice, oh, actually, this step did write to S3, so that's fine. The issue must be with the second function, or vice versa. That's the only thing
Right. But then, each one also has its log stream, so you can see where it failed.
That's very true. Yeah, very true. Very true.
And see where it failed. And so, okay. So if we say, okay, this is here, I would say that the response from this, right, is rather than, so we won't have to do a JSON.stringify here. If we, what happened here? Data. I saved it, right? Yeah, I did say it. All right. So I lost my changes. Is it just me, or did I lose all those changes I did earlier? My body concatenation and everything. Okay. I think I didn't say. All right. So what I'm going to do here is on end here. So this response here is going to be on end, right? And we're going to put that here. And we're just going to return this. Just going to be body. And we're not going to bother with this, right? And we're just going to return response. Okay. And so that's what the return here is all be passed on the next Lambda function, the body of the response. So let's test this one more time. Just for fun. All right. So this, okay. Console. Okay. All right. So this should be good. So now let's look at creating the other trigger that we need. So we come to Lambda functions and create a new function. We're gonna do write COVID data. Right, same thing. We're just waiting for that. Okay, and we can come to this previous one here. Let's COVID data. The downstream trigger. To it, the number function, and the destination will be the COVID data. Okay. So wait, what's the condition on failure? Okay. Well, I want the condition to be on failure. Right? We want it to be we don't want it to be on failure. So let's delete this. Delete that. On success. All right. Let's go down to success. Okay. And so here, let's come here and in here. We'll say just say delete data, right? Okay. Let's do this. Let's say dog delete data written. All right. And let's run the test on the other one again. Let's run the test on fetch. Let's see if it follows that. And pass on this. Okay, institutional detail. Okay. Let's see. Right click data. Nothing for this. Another code. Let's get two ones. Let's see it. Oh. Okay. All right. Let's try this. Let's make our cloud watch rule every minute. Right? So into this rule and let's edit it. I will change the schedule to 1 minute. And then that way, I want to see if it triggers. I want to confirm that the chain actually works before we then go on. All right, so let's see. Should be about a minute now. Let me check. Nope, not trigger yet. This one. What's the time now? 7:21, 7:30. Then we should have it. We'll trigger it around 7. Okay, right there. We're going to trigger at 7:30. Right? Okay. So we want to check for the second one. Right, COVID data monitoring. Wallets. We hope still don't have anything. 7:30. Okay, so this wasn't triggered. This wasn't triggered at 7:30. Yeah, about 7:26. 7:30. I'm going to try something here. I'm going to just create a failure trigger as well. Even though this succeeded, but on the test say it succeeded. But this, yeah. No. Okay. There was something that was in the there was something in the documentation. Not in the documentation. When I first added that Lambda function, there was something about it not the role it has not having the permissions to to call another Lambda function.
Yeah, well, did it not say that it will fix it for you?
Yeah, it said it will try to fix it for me. So let's check and see if it actually was able to fix it. So this is the role here, right? Okay, it added it. AWS Lambda basic execution role, right? And AWS Lambda function destination execution role. So it seems to have added the role here. So that's, I don't think that's the problem. So, well, I mean, I hope you get, I don't know if you guys mind, but let's call it early today. We'll pick this up. I am totally done.
I don't blame you too.
Yeah.
I won't complain at all.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's stop here. Let's stop here. We've been able to fetch the data. We'll stop here, and then what we'll do is, Darkball and Ralph, if you guys want to play and try to connect two Lambda functions and see if you can figure out what the issue is, right? Just try out what it is we're trying to do. It doesn't have to be anything complex. Just create one Lambda function, create a second Lambda function, and set it as destination.
Okay.
And use console logs to see if you can get them to trigger each other.
All right. Assignments are good. I like assignments.
Yeah. And let's see. I mean, because that's technically is what we need to do, is to pass the data from this Lambda to the next, and then have that one be focused on writing it to the database. I mean, we could modify this one to write to the database. I don't like designs like that because then you have huge, monolithic functions rather than having separations of concerns.
Yeah.
Right. So let the one that's fetching the data, let that be all it does, and it does it perfectly. The one that writes, let that be all it does, and it does perfectly. And then if we decide to write to S3, we can get a new trigger and point it to that. You get what I mean? We don't have to edit this code.
Yeah, because I was checking online. I saw something about to load the JSON file from S3 and then perform a Lambda function on it. And then this one does go into a DynamoDB, but I was wondering if it's sort of similar to what we might be doing.
So we can send this to a DynamoDB, right, from the Lambda function.
Yeah.
What is a DynamoDB?
It's an AWS database.
Okay.
But that's not what I want to do. Because what I'm trying to do is to illustrate building out solutions in AWS.
Yeah.
Right. And this is a scenario, like right now we have like a real live case study that we're working on where we have this data in a repo.
Can you share the code you used for the first Lambda?
What do you say?
Can you share the code you used for the first Lambda in Slack?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I can share that. Yeah. Yes, so challenge accepted. I'm glad about that. I'm happy to hear that. Let's see who can save us from ourselves. Right. Why is this always updated when I load it? You see this here? This is old. This is not it. Oh my good lord.
That is not it at all.
That is definitely not it.
No. We've got, sorry, actually, is it not?
No.
We scroll up. I saw
Yeah.
the body plus data thing there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You see. Yeah, it is. Okay. Well, I just cleaned it up and yeah, you're right. I'm tired.
Go and sleep, Yinka. Have a good night's sleep.
Yeah, it's been a rough week already.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to put the code here. This is infrastructure. So. Okay. All right. And okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
See you
next week.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes. All right.
Okay.